Today I want to talk about the 5 qualities that make you a super freelancer or someone who would be very successful with freelancing. And this applies to anyone who works in any sort of service-oriented role or when you're dealing with people, which is, it's the relationships that make things successful. So the first rule is integrity. Integrity refers to a sense of transparency in your dealings. So at the start of a project, don't overpromise, right? Overpromising is, telling people that you can achieve the world when you can't. So, be honest with what can be achieved. And if the client's expectations of what can be achieved aren't in line with what can be done in the real world, and some people, have that tendency where they expect you to build like, a Pixar style animation for like 50 quid or something. Just be honest from the start and say, it's not going to happen, right? If the client walks away at that point, you've gained and they've gained. Before they do that, educate them. So under promise, but over deliver, right? Point 2 refers to the aspect of the technology that's involved. A lot of people aren't really familiar with technology, and some freelancers take advantage of that, and you'll get caught out like immediately if that happens. The internet has made the world a very small place. If you promise someone, if you charge someone a stupid price for something really simple, all they've got to do is go online, have a look, and that's the end. So be honest, right? Don't try to take advantage of someone's ignorance. In fact, educate them, become an advocate, guide them in the right direction. And if guiding in the right direction means that somebody else can fulfill what they need better than you, then guide them in that direction. Third aspect of this is the price. Be upfront with the price. Don't quote a lowball price at the start just to get the person on board. It's much, much harder to increase the price when you quote than going the other way. So it's going to be super hard to do that. So if your budget will not accommodate, or your hourly rate will not accommodate what they need, once again, point them in the direction of someone who can do it for that price, or who will do it for that price, and it's their loss, and it's you save yourself a lot of headaches and heartbreak and things like that. And the key point with integrity is that you're building trust, right? So point number 1, integrity. Integrity builds trust. So point 2 is thinking strategically and analytically. Now, you get a lot of influencers on YouTube these days who are telling like graphic design artists that you don't want to be an order taker, you want to be a strategic partner. Now, firstly, you don't become a strategic partner just on the off. As soon as you meet someone, you've got to build some trust before that happens. The other aspect is look at the project holistically. And this ties in with point 1. If someone's asking you to do a £50 job, right, you aren't going to be able to think strategically. So it depends on what you want. If you want to work strategically, then you've got to stop taking on those £50 jobs, because it's not going to happen. And you just be stuck in that role. But also, more importantly, educate yourself on what strategy actually is. Strategy is basically problem solving, or breaking a problem up into its component parts and then finding how to systematically achieve that, right? So educate yourself, right? And think about the big picture when you're doing something. And it's not about font weights and font colors and color schemes. Yeah, those are important. Think about the larger strategic objective of the project, or what the person's trying to do. Ask questions, listen. So point 2, thinking strategically and analytically. The third point is managing and exceeding customer expectations. This, like I said in the previous points, begins at the start of the project. Don't overpromise. Don't promise the world. Actually, be a little bit pessimistic, right? And the key here is to sort of go a little extra over what you promised, and deliver consistently. This means being timely and on budget, and just being consistent, and building a level of trust. Now, this isn't going to happen if all you do is £50 jobs on freelancer sites, banging things out on a production line, because you just don't have the time and the inclination to that, and you don't build long-term relationships with people who do that. Okay, you could, but you're stuck in that, right? So manage and exceed expectations of the customer, right? That's point number 3. Point number 4 is relationship management. Now, relationship management involves having great communication, right? It is about communicating clearly in the verbal form and in writing. So if you have a meeting on the client, if you speak on the phone, drop them an email just confirming what was discussed, right? The other thing is having a level of emotional intelligence, which is sort of reading what the other person's about, being empathic, understanding what they need. It's about building trust, as in the previous points. It's all about building trust, right? And the last point in this is trusting your gut. Like, you've worked on a number of projects, the kind of people that you've come across, and there's some that you like to work with and some that you don't like to work with, or will be a source of stress for you, and just because of the chemistry, stress for the other person. So don't take those people on. Just trust your gut, right? So it's communication, empathy, and trusting your gut that builds relationships. And of course, this is all sort of underlined by the other points, which is actually delivering what you promise, being good at your job, and things like that. So that's relationship management. Point 5 is communicating and influencing at all levels. Now, communication is the oil that keeps all this moving. Without good communication, written, verbal, none of this is going to work. A lot of influencers, like I said at the start, are asking freelancers now to be, more than just order takers. And this is where the influence comes in. And as I said at the start, you don't become someone that pushes others to make decisions just from zero. It doesn't go from 0 to 100. As an expert, people need to see that trust being built up. And once the trust is built up, then you may be able to influence their decisions. Now, there's a lot of stuff about communication around on the internet or on other resources, to look that up, improve your skills. Obviously, the point that underlines all this is that what you do, you must be really good at, and already be competent and an expert, and consistent delivery. And none of these 5 points work in isolation. They all work together holistically. So it's a holistic thing. It's not one point works, and the others work in isolation with them, but they work together. It's a holistic system. So those are the 5 rules. Thank you for your time.